Howdy folks, how we going? Thanks for joining me in the brewery. And today I'm going through what's in this box here. This is been sent to me by Boel. This is a iTap counter pressure bottle filler. They sent me a message a little while ago asking if I'd like to try one of these out. I said for sure, definitely, no problem at all. I've wanted to try counter pressure bottle filler for quite a while. I've never really wanted to spend the money on one though. They can do with cheap, the beer buddy, the bottling gun. So yeah, when they offered this, I said fantastic. So they've sent me this completely at their expense. Thank you very much to Boel. So I'm going to go through, we're going to have a look at what's in here. We'll get it put together and we'll bottle up some beer with it. Well, that's the plan anyway. So she's in the box and now I've had this out and had a bit of a look at it. She comes with instructions which go through all the different parts and how you set it up. And it's an exploded diagram of the actual tap itself. So yeah, everything's there, all the bits and pieces, and gives you a bit of a run through on how to use it. So that's her. But this is the unit. So we've got a couple of pieces in here in the box. This is the main tap assembly, and this is the bulk of the unit. Now this is going to become more as we go. There's a tap on there which pulls down to engage the unit. You've got the cover there for the clamp for putting your bottles in and clamping your bottles in place. This one is set up for PET bottles. You can get a separate collar which will allow you to do your crown seal glass bottles if that's what you're bottling in. So I think when you order it you can pick either one, or you should be able to buy that as a separate add-on. And there's a little bag here of additional parts, which is the shank for the back, which gets you connected in so you can mount it somewhere, and obviously so you can get your you can get your tail on, so you can get your beer in. This is the same as a tail piece on a standard keg setup on the end that attaches on the end with your clamp on. And again, I'll do a closer look at this when she's all together. Another locking clamp. We've got a spare knob, which is an adjustment, which is underneath. Here with this fella, that can change from one way to another, and that gives you a little bit more movement in this collar. So it'll drop down a little bit further, so if you need to adjust depending on your bottles, and we'll have to see how that turns out. So you get a spare one of those little risers. There's a little washer there for I'm not sure exactly where that goes, but I will work it out. And two line clips for getting our line into the back of we have gas in and an overflow, so when we're filling any overflow from the bottle, it comes out the back here and you can drain off into a bucket. And obviously, as I said, the beer comes in the back there. So fairly straightforward. There's a gas purging button on the front there when you've got your gas for purging your initial bottle, and a little winder there on the side, and this is where the magic happens. This is what adjusts the actual gas flow, and that will adjust the speed that we fill with. So got to get this mounted up so I can use it. Now, my original plan was, I first looked at what I was going to mount it into my old fridge door, where it used to have the taps, which I'm now in my commercial beer fridge. Because if I can stick it in there, I can just leave it in there, and then when I want to bottle some beer, I can just throw a keg into that fridge, hook it, do a quick hookup with some gas and the beer line, and away I go. But the shank is about, let's say 5 centimeters too short to actually work in the door of the fridge. The fridge door is too thick, so that's not going to work. So I'm going to have to knock up a stand. So I've gone out, I've bought myself some bits of timber and nuts and bolts and brackets, and I'm going to spend the next, hopefully, only about the next hour knocking that up. But I'll come back when it's done, we'll have a look, we'll get it together, get this all together with some lines on it, and get some beer flowing. Righto, done some crude woodworking, build up a rough frame for this to hang off. About $20 from the local Bunnings for the bits I needed just to knock this up, be nice and solid. If it works alright, I'll run with it. But long term, if this works out, I think getting it onto the actual front of the fridge would be a good option, but that will need a little bit more mucking around with the fridge. So this is where we're at the moment. So I've got the shank through the cross member here, so we can get the rest of this together. Now I'm going to pull this apart and give it all good sanitize before I actually run some bottles through. But just to give you a look at how she goes together. So, tap, we've got our connector piece here, ensuring we've got our washer in there, because that did come out, was sitting in the bottom of the box. And we just screw that in. Now, it reminds you on the instructions that this is only plastic. It's very solid plastic, I'll give it that. It says it's ABS plastic, because it's good quality. But the whole unit everything feels good and solid. But it does come in about, being careful with torque. So I really don't think you need anything more than, good finger tight. Then this can go in. Now there's grooved bits on here, so we can get this in nice and upright. And there's a collar there to screw you up. And again, just get it firmish. Good. And on the back, back's already on. I've already got that screwed on. So we've got our connector here. This is waiting for our T-piece. Now, this is where some construction had to happen as far as taps and the lines go, because you don't get lines and stuff with this. So one is the beer line, which I haven't finished putting together. So I'm going to have this set up just here on the table when I'm filling, and I'll have my keg or fermenter that I'm filling out of, like I'm bottling from, just on the floor, same as I do when I use when I've used the bottling gun in the past. And I'll have my gas bottles here, so I need just enough hose to run down there. And the hoses I've done today will give me enough length in the fridge if I need to down the track. But for now, beer disconnect, duo type fitting. We get that in there, nice. Off the end, standard. Yeah, you know what I've done. I've connected that. What about that on there? So, a little bit of fiddling. That's easy fix. I just got to take the got to take the I was rushing. I had bloody stuff to do. I did, yeah, and do something. His daughter's had an emergency. Oh, not the daughter, but a friend of the daughter's had an emergency, and she's going to need my car later. So I needed to do a quick trip to the dump. So we'll pull that hose clamp off. Now I've just clamped that hose just to make sure it's on. Fittings on here are reasonably snug, so I did take a little bit of effort with some hot water to get the hoses on, but we got there. Okay, now we're good. So hose clamp back on. But other than like the hoses being, you know, a little snug, you know, I had to get some boiling water, and that's not that's totally not uncommon when attaching hoses to barbs and stuff. So it wasn't a big drama. That's the only thing that's really happened. I mean, obviously had to make this, and again, yeah, wasn't a big effort. I'm not the bloody, yeah, I don't have that many bloody tools and stuff around, so. That's done. You can get our washer on the barb, on the tail, get him on. And that's our beer line connected. Put our disconnect back on. And that's good to go. Now, got a couple other lines. One, overflow line. This is just for when we're filling, we get a little bit of foam flow over as part of the process. So that hose will run just into an empty bucket or a container of some kind just to catch that little bit, and you'll see that when we're doing some filling. And that just goes in the back. We've got two connectors here on the back of the tap. The one on the right side of the tap, left side from the back, is the outlet, and I haven't got that on very far, but it's enough because it's only going to be taking foam off. There's no pressure on that. And then I've got my gas line. Now, gas line's a little bit more tricky. Going backwards, again we've got our inlet. And it's the same, it's a little push-in barb. So what that means is that when we finish we can take those out, and it's going to make it a little bit easier to store. So the gas runs and it splits. So that'll run to our gas bottle to deliver gas to the tap, and also to the keg via that connection, which we run off a splitter. So just a T-piece. All duo-tights as much as possible. Keep my end easy, so the only fiddling around was on here. And again, yeah, it took 15 minutes to put all the hoses together. So that's gas ready to go. That's up. Set up and done. We just got to get our work out exactly which way wants to. I think that's about us there. So right now I'm going to just quickly pull it apart a bit, give it a good sanitize, flush the beer line with some sanitizer, get some bottles out, get some beer out of the fridge, and we'll see how this thing goes getting beer into bottles. Okay, we're ready to bottle. So we've got our fermenter beer line connected and running over to the back. Gas line's running out to the keg where it splits off to the fermenter and back to the inlet, and the other hose runs down to our flow over tube. You'll see beer coming out of here at different times. Now let's get on with some bottling. I'm a bit pushed for room here, so hopefully don't knock nothing over on you. So I've just done a trial bottle, and this was partly to push the sanitizer out of the lines, but it's one of the Kegland 500ml bottles, and these are a bit darker, as you can see, than the normal one, and I've just had a lot of trouble actually seeing my line on the bottle. Got done, but I'm hoping this is the Cooper's bottle, and I'm hoping this is going to be a little bit easier. But one thing I have discovered is that you need to take the old rings off if it's not a new bottle, because that needs to sit in that ring. Alright, so we're popping the ring, turn until it's tight, and she's rock solid. We purge a bit of air out, like so. Get our lever. Now I didn't have that shut, I should have had that shut, but I didn't. We just adjust this bloody knob just to get a flow. The faster you go, the more from. I've got a little bit of froth there because it went a little bit too quick. That's alright, we'll get this one done, we'll do another one. We'll get one right. And then just turn this knob clockwise just to turn the flow off. And that'll give us a little bit of time. And just little adjustments to get it up to our fill level, and you'll see now we start getting that overflow, that froth flowing off, which is a good thing. That means we're getting rid of oxygen out of the headspace. Now I'm probably getting a little bit more wastage just at the moment. Hopefully the second bottle will be a little bit better, but hey, trial and error. So we turn that off now. Release the top lid, the top handle. Now you've got to make sure we release that. And once that's off, there's no beer flowing. I want to just ease this again, just equalise the pressure in the bottle, and you'll see a little bit of flow here as it equalises, and that will stop. And that's pretty much us. And we can release, pop him out, and just a little squeeze. Make sure that cap's clear of oxygen, and that's it. We're capped on foam, we're oxygen free. Beautiful. So anyway, let's do another one. So this time, I'm going to turn that off before we start. Get that off. So, in she goes, on nice and tight. That's it. The unit feels nice. It feels solid. It feels good. We purge some air. Pull the handle. So now we've got no flow. That's how it should be. And then we just adjust this back towards ourselves till we get a flow. And that's a lot better. That's a lot less foam there. That should get us more like what we're after. Possibly even go a little bit quicker. That's definitely more what we're after. Ease it back. That's a nice fill level. I'm more than happy with that. Handle up. Equalise the pressure. And we've got far less wastage that time, which is good. And squeeze that foam cap on. Beautiful, oxygen free transfer yet again. And a bit of a lid there, so that's it. And just keep going, doing the rest of the batch. Okay, so that's gone fairly simple. I said I've done 3 bottles without a lot of know what I'm doing. I've taken that third one to get, you know, what I'd certainly would consider to be a, you know, prime pour, an optimum pour, what you're looking for, with minimal wastage, good clearance in the bottle. I think the second bottle will be fine in the end, and that one will probably be alright as well. But there was a little bit of a leakage there, and I'm not sure whether that's because I actually turned that pressure valve off after I released the pressure. Certainly I think it would be a good thing. Certainly I'm going to sit down and write just a list of steps, so that I haven't got to have the instructions, but just simple, just to remind me each little thing that you got to do. Like I said, I think just that little bit there where I put the pressure knob and closed it before I took the beer out, sort of didn't allow that. They'd sort of done something with the pressure anyway. But that stopped leaking now. So it didn't leak much at all. Boel say on their website that the wastage is between 1% and 3%, and generally closer to that 1% on the overall beer. And like I said, I've just done 3 beers, so that's 1.5. That's 2 litres of beer, and I've got, yeah, maybe 30 mil, 40 mil of overflow in that catch container. So that's, you know, 2%. And like I said, those first 2 bottles I filled way quicker, and that was going to drop on the further bottles. So for me, yeah, I'm really happy with it. This setup, although it's a little bit bloody awkward looking and whatnot, but it works. It's rock solid. I think I'll run with this. I think I'm probably just going to run with this. Just leave it as it is. I can take the hoses and just wrap them around and keep them together. It'll store relatively neatly in the brewery. But yeah, it gets a thumbs up from me. So thanks to Boel for sending me one. Again, as I said, sent free of charge. This is completely supplied by the goodness of Boel. I'll put some links down in the comments to their webpage. Their webpage aren't exactly the easiest thing to follow. They're a Russian company, so I don't know exactly where you can get them in Australia. do some searching, you'll probably find. I'll see if I can. I'll put the link there, and that certainly is. You can certainly order them through the Russian site. There's no doubt about that. Actually, I think it's a Portuguese site running. It's all a bit interesting. But the part itself actually came from China. But yeah, I can't fault it. If you're bottling, I think it's worth the money. As I said, they're not cheap. I'm not going to quote your price. I really don't know what it is at the moment. I said price on the website's in euros, I believe. I haven't done a conversion of any kind. So, but I imagine the reality is you're looking comparable prices to any sort of counter pressure bottle filler. Yeah, if you have to rig something up, okay, it's a little bit of a hassle, but yeah, two pieces of 4x2 and a scrap bit of wood lying around, a couple of brackets, a little bit of time doing some drilling and some fucking, yeah, you're done. Pretty simple. You probably got, you know, most people have probably got enough scrap sitting around, you could knock one up. Other than that, you're going to fit on the most standard fonts or in the, you know, into a lot of fridges. Like I said, my fridge is just, the door's just too long, so we just need a little bit of manipulation, and I wasn't going to play around doing that. So if I didn't have to, I don't have to. I'm happy with the setup for now. But if you got any comments or any questions, stick them down the bottom. This is definitely how I'm bottling from now on. Certainly saves bloody the hour or so it takes with the bottling gun, constantly squeezing a trigger. This is just very, very, very simple. So you guys, get on if you want. Like I said, if you're bottling, I think it's definitely worth the money, worth the outlay. It looks and feels like it's super quality. I think it's going to last a long time. There's replacement parts available, so any of the parts that are going to wear out and give out on you over time are all replaceable. So it should last you a long time. So all good. So until I see you on the next video, we're brewing beer, drinking beer, or talking beer. Good brewing or good bottling, whatever. Catch us later.